Recording in progress.
What up, family? What's good? I'm Trey Frazier. I got my brother Maestro Styles here with me.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Special shout out to all of our Facebook Live viewers right now. Make sure y'all click that like button on the Facebook page, and also you can follow us on our YouTube channel, also on our social media on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, and also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Maestro, what's good? How we living, man?
Hey man, I'm good. I'm good. Let's get straight to it.
No doubt, man. First and foremost, man, happy Women's International Day. I know for me, Women's Day is every day, but you know, in this case, and everybody's celebrating happy Women's National Day. So, you know, shout out to all the women and all the females out there doing their thing. You know, staying on the grind
In
and
the
all that
world,
stuff.
International Day.
No doubt. Also, special shout out to Brittney Griner. And I know folks are expecting us to go right into the Russell Wilson trade, but I just gotta get into Brittney Griner here for a second. And everyone should know now. We found out a few days ago, Brittney Griner was detained by Russian officials 3 weeks ago. Was it, Maestro?
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks ago. For some kind of like weed oil substance that she was carrying in her luggage, and they arrested her, and they've held her down, and to this day she's still over there. Your thoughts, man?
I just found out about it Sunday. So what took so long for me to find out in the world of internet and all that? With two, get her. Let's get her home. I know that Russia is a touchy subject right now with everything that's going on. But I'm sorry. This is the time. We need to get her home before anything, God forbid, happened over there. I know she was over there playing ball. I think she was over there playing ball for the winter, and yeah, we need to go ahead and get her home. I don't know if the season's over. I would assume that the season is over, or at least her season is over. Considering the circumstance. So let's get her home. Let's get her home quick, fast, in a hurry.
Like you, I heard about it when it first broke a few days ago. I was just like you, questioning why we're now finding out about this, and so I did hear that the WNBA, there's some people within the organization knew what was going on. There have been some other individuals that kind of knew that she was over there and that she had a situation go on. I personally think what happened was they were just trying to keep it under wrap just so that they can try to work on trying to get her back to the States on a quiet level, given everything that's been going on between Russia and Ukraine and all that. And for some reason, they were unable to work out whatever they needed to work out. Unfortunately, it appears that, and I don't want to get into the war and all that stuff. I'm not trying to, dive down that rabbit hole. But I think this is a interesting point. Well, not so much interesting, but I think this kind of ties into whether she's going to come home immediately or this thing goes the other way. It appears that that country is using Brittney Griner as some sort of collateral or some form of a bargaining chip to get her back home here. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know what this country has to do to get her back. I did think about what happened to A$AP Rocky, and I get it as two different situations, but it was a situation where the president called to another country where he was, and they were able to get him out of there and bring him back. I hope they could do the same for Brittney Griner under these tough circumstances, and I'll just leave it at that to pray for her safety, her mentals, and we want to get her back. She's one of the top 5 faces in the WNBA, and for this to be going on, it's really unfortunate. So just want to send a special shout out to her, and hopefully whatever they got to do, whether it's the family, the country, whatever, just get her back home safe and sound. I'll just leave it at that. If you got nothing else, bruh, we can.
Yeah, condolences, no condolences, but prayers to Brittney Griner, like you said, for her mental health and for everything that's going on. I mean, we coming up on a month that she's been there, been detained there, and we just need her to come home. So
Yeah.
prayers up for that situation goes smooth.
No doubt, no doubt. Shout out to Miss Mocabella in the Facebook live chat. Also, our brother Mo Cheese is in the chat. Also, appreciate y'all
What's happening?
tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Now for the big news of the day. Russell Wilson has been traded to the Denver Broncos from the Seattle Seahawks. So here's the compensation that Seattle got out of the deal: 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a 5th-round pick, Noah Fant, forget the linebacker's name,
Shelby Harris.
Shelby Harris, and Drew Lock was in
Yep.
that package also. And so they get Russell Wilson, and they also get a 4th-round pick, I believe, with Russell
Yeah,
Wilson
the
back
Broncos did.
in the deal there.
Yep.
My opinion on this, I believe this is a blessing in disguise for the Denver Broncos, and here's why I say that. After Aaron Rodgers announced that he's gonna sign this 4-year, $200 million deal, okay, cool. I don't want to hear nothing about the Packers until they're in the Super Bowl. I'm done with that. But this was a blessing in disguise for Denver, because they were the team that everyone thought Aaron Rodgers was going to get traded to. And it turns out, and maybe it's a conspiracy, but once Rodgers decided Green Bay is where he's going to be at, it seemed like the Broncos said, okay, let's focus our attention to Russell Wilson, and they got this deal done. Now, Russell Wilson, I believe, at this point moving forward, is going to be around in the league longer than Aaron Rodgers is going to be. I think he's 31, 32 years old. I might be kind of off on the age there. Russell Wilson's worst injury since he's been in the league was his finger. So, to me, that says this guy's durable. He's been durable. I think he's going to continue to be that for the Broncos. I honestly could see him being there for another 9, 10 years. So what they gave up might seem a lot, but they had to make this deal done, especially given what's going on in the rest of that AFC West division right there, with all the quarterbacks coming up, and then you still got Derek Carr, who just made the playoffs for the first time.
I don't think it's a blessing in disguise. I think it's just a flat out blessing. I think this is a good trade for both teams. For both teams involved. I mean, Seattle, we don't know what the hell type of team they about to be. And when Russell Wilson was on the team, we didn't know what kind of team this team was going to be. It didn't seem like they was really interested in, building around Russell Wilson. It didn't seem that way. It seemed like they was like, here's the money, go win us a Super Bowl type of thing. So Russell Wilson going to the Broncos, the offense is a pretty good offense already. They're just waiting for him to come in and put the stamp on it.
Yeah.
The defense is pretty good. They're young. They needed obviously to compete with the rest of the AFC West and the rest of the AFC for that matter. So now they're in that. They're right in the thick of that hunt for a Super Bowl. Even though I don't have them as a Super Bowl team right now, but they're right in it. They got just as big as a chance as say the
Potential
Ravens.
playoff
You know what
team.
I'm saying?
Potential playoff team.
Yeah. I mean, they have just. I think they're a better team than the Chargers right now. Russell Wilson kind of puts them over. Not because I think Russell Wilson is that much of a better quarterback than Justin Herbert, but with the team around him, the Broncos I think is a better team than the
They're the number
Chargers right
2
now.
team in the West. I'm gonna just go out and say it.
Um,
They're the number two team. I think they're better than the Raiders right now.
well, I thought they were better than the Raiders anyway with Russell Wilson, but yeah. So I tend to agree. I think the conversation is can they, play with Kansas City,
Hmm.
and I think they can, and I think they can.
Yep. Yep. They
Um,
could play with them without Russell Wilson last year. There were a couple of close games last year with them. They just need a
well,
quarterback just to
this
take them over the top. That's all.
yeah. Well, are you willing to say that Russell Wilson makes the Broncos better than the Chiefs?
I don't think it makes them better than the Chiefs, but I think they can finally split with Kansas City because I think the record is something like 10 straight wins against Denver for
Hmm.
Kansas City, something like that. I don't remember the last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs with Mahomes at center. So I think this gives them the opportunity to split with Kansas City and possibly compete for the AFC West crown. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, and then getting back to the Seahawks, Noah Fant is a up and coming tight end.
Hmm.
He's I honestly I know Russell Wilson kind of wished they could have kept Fant
Sure.
for that offense because Fant is going to be like that. I mean, he's already pretty good now, but he going to be
Sure.
like that. He's going to be in another one of those tight ends in that George Kittle, Kelsey class. I feel like Darren Waller class. I feel like. So they got and two first rounders. I mean, they got the opportunity to build. If they don't have a quarterback, they'll find one soon. They'll find one within those first rounders. You would like to think. So
Hmm.
Seattle got an opportunity to rebuild with all these draft picks. With
Or
that money off the.
or what if they flip those picks and maybe if Deshaun Watson's situation has some light at the end of the tunnel, what that's a
Wow.
possibility. I'm not saying that that's like I'm not predicting that that's gonna happen. I'm just
I don't even
saying
think that's
I
good for them.
sure it might be, it might not be, but I don't want to just shut the door on that for Seattle because I think that door is open. In addition to what they could do in the draft, what they could still do in free agency. I mean, there's still some quarterbacks out there that might be on the move. I mean, Jameis Winston doesn't have a contract. Maybe that door is open for Seattle.
Yeah, but that's not a that I mean, you don't lose draft picks with Jameis Winston. The only person you're really talking about losing draft picks with, when we talk about first round draft picks and
Hmm.
second round draft, I mean, you're only talking about Deshaun Watson at this point. There's nobody else in the quarterback market that would demand Seattle, mortgaging what they just got from Denver. There's no quarterback in that market
Oh,
outside of Deshaun Watson.
I wasn't saying to use draft picks for Jameis Winston. I'm just saying that overall, in terms of finding a quarterback, I think they have their options in addition to what they have with the assets they got from Denver.
Yeah, but I think in order to get Deshaun Watson, you just gave away everything you just got, and I don't think that makes sense.
Okay, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not gonna shut the door on that, but if it's me, I'm most likely gonna look for the draft and then use those picks to start to build this team back up.
I mean, the truth be told, the more as the closer we get to draft, I'm seeing a lot of people saying that there is not a NFL ready quarterback in this draft. Now, obviously, that's just people talking and those
Yeah,
types of
I
things,
I,
but
I don't buy that.
but well, I mean, we never know. I mean, the fact is, we
Sure,
never know until somebody draft. And obviously, Malik Willis is going to get drafted, and Kenny
Kenny
Pickett, and
Pickett's, yeah, they're gonna get
yeah,
drafted
obviously, some of those guys are going to get drafted. So
and they're gonna
we'll find
start
out. But
at some point in their first year.
well,
They're
I
gonna
don't
start.
mean sure. What I mean is that they're not going to be good. Meaning, and that's what I mean by NFL ready. Like they're not going to be good quarterbacks. They're not going to come in. You're not going to get a Justin Herbert. You're not going to get a Joe Burrow this year. You're not going to get a
Well,
Lamar Jackson this year.
like you said, I mean, they might be right about their statement about these aren't NFL ready quarterbacks. They might be wrong about it. We might be right about them not being good this year. We might be wrong about them not being good this year. You never know with this draft. You never
Well,
know with
I'm,
these
I'm saying
players.
all that. I'm saying all that to say is that the Seahawks got a better chance of just addressing their needs at period. Their team needs, not their quarterback needs, their team needs.
Hmm.
They're better off taking all this capital and addressing their team needs. I mean, Drew Lock is still young. Give him just see what he does. Maybe bring in somebody like a Jameis Winston, like a Mitchell Trubisky, even though I don't like that his agent talking about we want over $10 million for a year.
For a backup
But
quarterback. I mean, how much are backups
well,
getting? How much are backups getting right now?
Uh, I don't have the answer to be honest with you. But even if he is a backup quarterback, automatically because he has starter experience, he's a top tier. So maybe
Right.
he's right to ask for that kind of money. I'm just saying I don't want him for that kind of money, and we'll get to Pittsburgh when it happens. But
Hmm.
I don't want that kind of. I don't want that. I don't want a high tier second quarterback. I don't believe he's a starter. That's just what I'm getting at. And if you bring in Mitchell Trubisky, I don't know. You bring an interesting point because I don't know where's the threshold between backup money and starter money. I
Yeah,
mean,
because think about it.
it's funny because I was looking at the franchise tag stuff earlier today,
Yeah.
and the quarterback position is at any quarterback and no quarterbacks for franchise, but the franchise tag was 29.7 million. So honestly, that might be the so honestly $10 million
Yeah,
might be cheap. That might be cheap.
that's what I'm trying to get
Yeah,
to because
yeah.
when you look at what starters are making, I would imagine that backup money has gone up
It's probably more
as
like you're
well.
more like 12, 13, maybe 15.
Right.
Maybe.
I mean, Jacoby Brissett a couple years ago, when I get Jacoby was a starter at that time when the Colts signed him that I think it was 2 years, $30 million, something like that.
Yeah.
So that was a $15 million a year contract for Jacoby Brissett,
And he started.
and he
And he
started.
started.
So
Right.
I'm just thinking 10 million is probably right where a backup who once upon a time was a starter should be demanding.
Nah, actually, nah. I'm gonna say he not demanding. Well, he's demanding over 10. So,
Hmm.
I got to try to change my stance, even though I don't believe in him as a quarterback. But if the market says
Hmm.
I can get over 10 million, I mean, let's be clear.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky can get 17 million,
So
and as a backup.
so I did see the Giants as a rumor, as a spot for Mitchell Trubisky to compete with Daniel Jones for the starting job. I did see that
There's so many
earlier.
rumors going on.
Yeah, I
There's so many
know.
rumors
I
going
know.
on.
I know.
It's kind
I
of
know.
off. Now like I realized that I was thinking about this shit like last week. Because 3 weeks ago it was Carson Wentz might come to Pittsburgh, and then next
Yeah.
week it was somebody else, and then this
Yeah,
week now it's
Garoppolo.
Trubisky this week. Yeah, like um it's just a lot of rumors going on right now. I don't know what's real and what's well, none of it is real or fake until something happens.
Until
So
something make a move, yeah.
yeah, so I'm not putting too much stock into where he's going, but I will say he got every right. I gotta change that. He got every right to ask for upwards of $15 million if the franchise is 29-7
So
for a
to
starter.
so just to bring up the $200 million contract, the 4 year contract for Aaron Rodgers for a second. My initial response to that was Lamar Jackson, go get your money now. Because now that particular contract is a market setter, in my
Market
opinion.
resetter, yep.
In my
Yeah,
opinion,
no, it's
and I know people share the same opinion. It might be a fact also, but that was my initial thought that this contract is a market setter right now. And all I could think about is Lamar Jackson, whether he gets this extension this offseason before the season starts, or whether he just plays this season out, goes out, wins a Super Bowl, and possibly get $55 million a year. Um, I'm all for it.
Well, let's be clear. If he wins a Super Bowl, which I don't have that happening, but if he wins a Super Bowl, he's going to have to reset the market again.
In terms of
meaning Aaron Rodgers just got $50 million a year, 153 guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's gonna have to be more than that. Like you said, if you're talking about 55 a year,
Yeah.
then that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think a Super Bowl victory is a little more than $5 million, a little more than
You're
$5 million
saying
dollars a year now.
it's more than 5 million more than the 50 is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah. You win a
Okay.
Super Bowl.
Okay.
If you're Lamar Jackson and you win a Super Bowl, now we talking about 60, 65 million. Now
I'm
we talking
just
about a whole.
yeah, I'm just throwing
Yeah,
a number north of 50 million. That's really all I'm
yeah.
doing is just throwing that number higher than that. But if like you said, if it's 60, 65, let's do it.
But don't
Let's
worry
do it.
about it. You
You
don't.
know.
I mean, if it, to all the to you and
It
Ravens
ain't my
fans, don't
money.
count on.
It ain't my money, bro. I'm not counting that man
Sure,
money.
don't. I ain't talking about. I'm talking about don't count on winning the Super Bowl. That's
Oh,
what
I'm
I'm talking
counting on
about.
winning the Super
Don't.
Bowl, my nigga. I'm counting on winning the
Sure.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
Sure.
What y'all niggas need to count
Sure.
on is who gonna be your quarterback in the AFC.
I
Now that this
ain't, to be
AFC
honest with
is
you, I ain't counting on.
loading up,
I'm not counting on winning this. I'm not counting on winning the Super Bowl. To be honest with you, Trey, I'm not even counting on competing for real. So
competing for playoffs,
competing in the AFC, yeah. So yeah, playoffs. I'm
competing
not
for the,
counting on
you're not
competing in
counting
the.
on it. Am I
I'm
hearing
not
this for the
counting on
first
it.
time? Am I hearing this right?
Dog, we don't have a quarterback.
Uh, wow. Okay.
We
All
don't have
right.
a quarterback,
Okay.
and we don't have an offensive line.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, free
Look, I
agency's
be
next
like,
week. Free agency is next week. The draft is coming up. Let's
let's
see
say, okay,
let's see what the
okay,
moves get made.
okay. What I'm asking you to be an optimistic Steelers fan. I know this is hard to do. What
You
what
mean an
what could
optimistic
possibly happen?
Ravens fan? You mean?
No, I mean an optimistic Steelers fan. No, yeah, I'm asking you to be an optimistic Steelers fan. What quarterback could come in and have us competing automatically? And you've seen my team play last year.
Well, y'all got your draft picks, right? I'm
We got a
trying.
first rounder.
You got. I'm saying y'all
We got
didn't.
it.
Y'all didn't like.
No,
Cause who y'all
no.
get?
I mean, I think we got. I
Y'all
think
got
we
some
got
capital.
seven
Y'all got some
picks.
draft capital, right? Like y'all ain't like sell the
Sure.
farm or nothing like that. Okay.
No,
Okay. So, um, draft some offensive linemen. Jameis Winston is on the street.
let's be
I
clear.
did hear you say that you would take Jameis Winston on your
I would
team.
take Jameis Winston. I
Okay,
would.
okay. So you got a quarterback. Next thing you deal with is the offensive line. You could deal with that in the
Okay, hold on. Let me
draft.
stop you right there. You telling me that you feel like Jameis Winston, and I'm just, it's off season. I can be realistic. All this goes out the window when we get closer to the year.
Listen, I
You're
want y'all to
telling me
crash
that,
and burn. I'm just saying
sure.
we still have there's
So
still
this
an off
is your
season
time.
to there's still an off season to be had here.
Sure, sure. But you're telling me that you're convinced that uh, a Jameis Winston led Steelers team can compete with the likes of Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr on a lower level.
With
Like,
Najee Harris.
yeah,
Yeah, with Najee Harris. Yes.
Najee Harris don't have an offensive line. Najee Harris,
Well,
like,
well,
like,
again, they're gonna, like I said, if you guys draft some linemen, maybe get one in free agency. I don't know what y'all cap situation is like, but if you guys can shore that up, you got Najee Harris, you get Jameis Winston out of free agency for at a certain number. That is enough to compete. Now, are y'all gonna make the playoffs? I hope not, but I think that's still enough. If you're just talking about competing in the AFC, that's enough
okay,
to
our expectations
compete.
of compete. Our expectations are different than when we talk about the word compete. Then, and that's what I'm gathering from you. I'm only talking about Super Bowl ambitions. Pittsburgh. My taste as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan is what happens after Week 17, or in this case, Week 18. If we
Sure,
ain't like
sure.
so we are considered a perennial playoff team. We are considered a perennial playoff team. We're considered or at least, well, I can't even say in these recent years, but we expect Super Bowl contention. That's the expectation as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I can't speak to all that mediocrity about, oh, we might make the playoffs. I expect
But wait a minute.
playoffs. Like,
How's that mediocrity? All you need is to get in the playoffs, right? If you get in the playoffs, you have a chance. This is the NFL we're talking about. This isn't the
So what
NBA.
I'm right. So what I'm saying is that now we're in the playoffs.
Right.
Jameis Winston versus Patrick Mahomes, Jameis Winston versus Joe Burrow, Jameis Winston versus Joe Herbert, Jameis Winston versus Russell
Sure.
Wilson, Jameis Winston versus the only
Jameis
quarterback
Winston
that I
versus a
could
defense. How about that? How about Jameis Winston versus a defense? How about Najee
sure,
Harris
but
and that offensive line versus
you
the
are
opposing
sure,
defense?
sir. Yes, sure, and sure.
Ain't no
I don't
sure.
know.
That's who you're competing against. Ain't no sure. That's who the offense is going up against. We've seen mediocre quarterbacks
Chiefs.
advance in the playoffs, and I'm not calling
When the
Jameis
last
Winston a
time we seen
mediocre.
it?
I'm not calling Jameis Winston a mediocre quarterback, but I'm saying we've
What are you calling
seen,
Jameis Winston?
huh?
Jameis Winston is not
I
a
think
mediocre quarterback.
no, I don't think he's mediocre. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's great. I think he's good.
You think he's a top 10 quarterback at his best?
I at his best, I think he's hovering around 11, 12. I think at his best.
Yeah, okay, so we kind of agree, but now we're talking. Oh, I get what you're saying, and I feel like we about to stretch a conversation.
Again,
I'm, but I'm
again, and I just want to make myself clear. You can win a playoff game when your quarterback is not as good as the opposing team's quarterback. That's been like every year we see that. Almost every year we see that.
okay, okay, but we are officially talking about uh the Chiefs who going to score 30. We're talking
Yeah,
about the
sure.
Bengals who are going to score 30. The Jameis Winston ain't a 30 burger guaranteed, is what I'm saying, against any defense.
No, I understand that. Look at Jimmy Garoppolo. I get it's the different conference, but if you can
I'm
win
just I'm
with
just
Jimmy, if you can win playoff games with Jimmy Garoppolo, then I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though I don't want them to, the Pittsburgh
sir.
Steelers can win some games with Jameis Winston
In the playoffs, I see, because now
in
because
the
you
playoffs.
bring up
Yes, in
You
the
bring up
playoffs.
Jimmy
Yes.
Garoppolo, but you bring up Jimmy Garoppolo, but you talk about the offensive coordinator and that Shanahan thing. We don't have we don't run a running game like that. We don't have a Debo Samuel utility player like that. Like, you know what
You
I'm
don't you don't
saying?
need
It's
to if you
we
got
don't.
Najee Harris. You don't need to
All
if you
right,
got
bro.
Najee Harris.
I don't like this conversation no more.
Yeah,
I don't know what you want me to say.
I'm just saying, at least give you. My point is, the off season is just starting. We have yet to get through free agency. We have yet to get through the draft. Let's see what these teams do, and at
I'm
the end, and
saying,
at
and
the and at the end of the summer, we'll see. Where the teams stack up against each other.
And what I'm saying in rebuttal to that is that you don't fix the holes that my team has in an off season, especially
That,
when you know what the competition is. I ain't even say Josh Allen yet. When you
sure.
know what the competition is in the AFC, you don't fix the holes that we have to compete with the teams we know that we got to face in an off season. That don't
That
happen that fast.
well, I don't know about that. I mean, I think if there's one sport that you can do that in, it's the NFL. Probably more than any other sport. At least you got a chance. Give yourself a chance, brother.
I mean, look, brother, I don't want to keep stretching the conversation because I don't like you defending my team and I don't like
Yeah.
downing my
I
team.
hate the fact that I
But
have
I'm
to defend
realistic.
this. I hate
But
the
it's
fact that I
realistic.
have to
But
do
it's
it.
realistic.
But
I'm realistic. All this goes out the window when I'm rooting for my team in September. But right now, I'm allowed to be realistic. We got a lot of fucking holes on our team, and we don't have a quarterback.
all right, well, look, I want the thing to crash and
Buffalo
burn.
was Buffalo. Kansas City is Kansas City. Cincinnati is Cincinnati.
Yeah, I get it. And Lamar's coming back,
Denver is going to be
so
Denver
yeah.
is going to be Denver. See, I'm not even. But see, that's the thing. I'm not even so much concerned about the Ravens because I know we've played the Ravens well, win or lose, but we've played them well in recent years. So it's not even so much the like
But
not the
I'm
like try to
confused
throw
about
shade.
that. I'm confused about that. You say you're not concerned about the Ravens and Lamar coming back, but if you're saying
I'm
you're
not.
talking about, but if you're talking about your expectations is competing for a Super Bowl, those are the teams that you're gonna have to at some point see to get there. So
What I'm saying is,
even though we had a down season, that man coming back, and there's an
but we
expectation
would.
that it's going to be Super Bowl or bust for this team. I don't care what the
Yeah, I don't
people
have
say.
that.
I don't care what the people say when they leave Lamar Jackson out of the conversation of Burrow, Herbert, and Allen and Mahomes. I don't care. That man is coming back, and that man is going to be angry and pissed off when he gets back.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that we have still, with Lamar Jackson in the game, played y'all well for the most part. Even like I said, we haven't been a good team for maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years.
Hmm.
So we've traditionally played y'all well. I'm not so much worried about y'all with
You
Lamar
beat
Jackson on the
Buffalo
team.
last
More
year.
as
You beat Buffalo last year.
all right, bro. I don't know what
Did
that
you
is.
not beat Buffalo last year?
Yes, we beat Buffalo last
Okay,
year.
what's so you acting like we the
We
only
only played
team that
Buffalo
y'all.
one time.
I
We
get it.
traditionally play Buffalo one time in 4 years. Traditionally, I get we're gonna play them again this
I
year,
was gonna say
or
y'all played
we play them
them a
two
couple,
times,
couple
two
three
years.
times last 3 years.
Yeah. So I get that. I get that it happens, but traditionally we only play them once a year. I'm saying that we're familiar with we're more familiar with Baltimore, and Cincinnati just was in the Super Bowl. So I'm more comfortable playing Baltimore. I'm not saying Baltimore's not a competing team. I'm
Hmm.
saying of the competing teams, I'm not so much concerned about Baltimore more than I am concerned with the likes of Buffalo, Cincinnati, Kansas City, maybe now Denver.
But if you're competing for playoff positioning,
All right, bro.
you got it.
I don't. I'm trying to move on. You
I'm
keep
just
trying
trying
to
to
keep
figure
that.
out why you're singling us out from the rest of the teams when like
Familiarity. I don't
we're in that
familiarity.
conversation. So if you bring up familiarity, then Cincinnati,
Cincinnati's not
I
the
get
same team. Cincinnati is not the same team. Please
I
stop acting like Cincinnati is the same team we've been playing. Cincinnati is not the same team we've been playing for the past however long. Cincinnati is a totally different team right now with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the crew. That's a totally different team.
so you got them winning the division this coming season.
I'm not here to make predictions right now. I'm just saying that's a totally different team.
Yeah, I asked the damn question. Do you have them winning the division or not?
What does that
Right
have to
now.
do with my point? Why are you? All right, yes,
Okay. All right. I'll
but I
move
don't
on.
understand what that is. What that has to do with anything. Only thing I'm saying is that uh, Baltimore is a familiar team. Hasn't much changed with Baltimore. We've been playing Baltimore good in the past 2, 3, 4 years. Y'all haven't been flat out dogging us. We haven't been flat out dogging y'all.
Okay.
It's that whatever that Pittsburgh Baltimore rivalry thing is not the
Okay.
same rivalry
So I
that we
think
have with
okay,
Cincinnati.
so I think so I think and I'll put this to bed. So the fact that you've swept us twice in the last couple of years is
It's familiarity,
why are you shaking
Trey,
your head for? Why
because
are
it
you
has
shaking
nothing to do with us sweeping y'all.
huh?
It
What do
has
you
not. I didn't
mean?
say nothing about sweep,
That's the
bro.
same
I don't know. All
thing.
right,
That's the same
all right.
thing. If you're talking about familiarity, that's the same thing.
Us winning, we could be losing and still have that familiarity.
So why
Our games are normally tight games.
so why is Cincinnati out of this conversation then? That's what I don't get.
We
I'm
Cincinnati is not the same team from this past year to last past year. Baltimore plays pretty similar.
What do you? So, oh, you're talking about the Cincinnati team from a couple years ago to this past season's team. Is that what you're
That's
referring
a
to?
totally different team. I said that.
Okay. No, I got the years mixed up. Because when you kept saying they're not the same team, I thought you was talking about this past team and beyond, and moving forward. That's where my confusion
Nah.
was.
All right. So yeah. So at the end of the day, and it's not, and it's again, it's not me discluding Baltimore. I'm
Hmm.
saying if I was the least concerned about a competing Super Bowl team, Baltimore is the least team that I'm concerned about.
In
It's not
terms
to
of
say I'm not concerned.
in terms of regular season play.
If we had to play Baltimore in a wild card round,
Okay.
I'd feel way more confident about playing Baltimore than I would any other team in the AFC
Okay.
because I know about the rivalry. That rivalry is different than than Pittsburgh and Cincinnati's rivalry. It's different from Pittsburgh and Cleveland's rivalry. It's a thing where if we punch y'all in the mouth a little bit harder, even though y'all are the better team roster wise, if we
Mm-hmm.
punch y'all in the mouth, we might steal a win. If y'all
Mm-hmm.
punch us in the mouth, we might get blown out.
You're saying you have no
I'm
chance against the other guys. Got it. Got it. Am I right about that?
Yeah,
I was.
I said yeah.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Um, Getting back to Denver for a second. So did you hear that Kanye and Antonio Brown have shared some interest in buying the Denver Broncos?
Buying the Denver Broncos, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for them.
Absolutely. I would go for that in a heartbeat if if they
I
actually put a
mean,
bid out.
nah, but Byron Allen,
Mm-hmm.
Robert Smith, that's the investment team
Yep.
that I heard about.
Mm-hmm.
No shade to Kanye or Antonio Brown. Excuse me. No shade to them.
Mm-hmm.
I would like that team, that investment group to get it.
Okay. Yeah, Byron Allen's got some bank too. Um,
Byron Allen, Robert Johnson. Last time I
mhm.
checked, not BET Robert Johnson, and it's not Robert Johnson. I keep doing that. It's Robert
Robert
Smith.
Smith. Okay.
Yeah,
Robert
Robert
Smith was a
Smith.
dude, and if I'm not mistaken,
He's the richest black man last time I saw.
he paid some student debt off to some black students at a university a couple of years ago. So that's where that name for me is familiar. And I also, like you, know that he's one of the richest black men in this country. So yeah,
I would
I
rather
dig
them.
that. I dig that.
No shade to
There's a black.
Kanye, no shade to Antonio Brown,
And
but yeah,
Kanye is a certified billionaire, right?
yeah, he is.
Okay, okay, all right,
Yeah, I would
yeah.
still rather,
Mm-hmm.
no, again, no shade to Kanye. I would rather a quiet rich. I'd rather
I
some more
got you.
quieter billionaires.
I got you. But I
Yeah,
would love. I still would like them to put their bid in, though. No question about that.
sure.
Definitely would love them to do that. So at the end of the day, with the just to kind of put a bow on the Russ thing, for me, this is a team that can now compete for the next, I'd say, 4 or 5 years. I think Russell can win with this team. I think he can stay with this team a good 8, 9, 10 years.
They
If
just
he
opened their
stays
Super
healthy.
Bowl window.
Hmm.
Russell Wilson opens their Super Bowl. Now they're in the window. They're in a window where they can win the Super Bowl. That's
Yeah.
where they're at right now. Within however long Russell Wilson plays up to par, or he stays in the league,
Hmm.
they are officially in a Super Bowl window right now. And you just kind of hope for if you're a Denver fan, let me say, you kind of hope if you're a Denver fan that they could take advantage of this window that they just opened it.
Yeah. So so Calvin Ridley suspended for 1 season for betting on NFL games, which I did not know was a rule amongst NFL players, but I'm not surprised that it is one, and I'm not
Yeah, it makes perfect
surprised that
sense.
they. Yeah, absolutely, it makes a whole lot of sense. What I think doesn't make sense to me is the 1 year suspension when there's and I hate to bring these comparisons up, but I got to do so. Um, Domestic violence, um, marijuana, some of these other instances that are considerably worse, and really the marijuana thing is not worse, but the domestic
I'll say
violence
it's not
thing
worse.
is. Um, why a full year? I guess is my question in comparison to some of the
Um,
other things.
Well, my I was reading up on the story before we got online,
Hmm.
and essentially, let me answer your question first before I go into the backstory. To answer your question, uh, because players can affect games. And I get they have inside information,
Yep.
allegedly, and I know that the investigation proved that he didn't know anything. He wasn't placing bets on games based on inside information.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
was
they
it's a
concluded.
parlay. Yeah.
Yeah, but in a gambling situation, i.e. Tim Donaghy, i.e. I guess Pete Rose, like you can
Yep.
get insider information to up your bets and win, and it's a money game in short. In a money game in
Yep.
short, we don't want to give you all of our money. We already paying you. That especially with gambling, DraftKings, all those people, MGM starting to work a little closer with the NFL as they starting to quote unquote okay gambling now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Players they needed to make an example, and Calvin really dumbass, for lack of a better, not even for lack of a better term, this was a dumbass mistake. Um, uh, he had to be the scapegoat, or not even scapegoat, the sacrificial lamb. You made the first mistake of getting caught betting on games and yeah, we gotta make you pay. And it wasn't nothing but $1,500, but we gotta make you the example. Like, why I don't while you're like, your thought is why so much. My thought is, I'm sorry, my thought is bro, why are you even doing this? Like, what you didn't think, did you not know that this was illegal? I mean, I get it, he a
Right.
youngin, did you not know this was
Can
illegal?
I
Did you not
answer
even
that?
see the conflict of interest?
Right. I want to not so much give an answer, but just kind of respond to why he was doing it. And I don't think this really pertains to why he did it, but going back to last season, if you remember, he kind of left in the middle of the season to address some of his mental health issues. And,
Mm-hmm.
we kind of wished him well on that. So when this
And we
broke,
still do.
right, and so when this story broke the other day, I tweeted out immediately like, "Oh, he was gambling during his mental break or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
Not to throw shade at him or anything like that, but to me, that's what he was doing. He was doing some gambling, and like you said, he probably didn't know that this was, some kind of rule or something. And I'm hearing people throwing out the idea that, oh, he's got a gambling problem and da 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 da. And I'm like, I don't think he's got a gambling problem. I just think he just honestly didn't know that this was a rule. And quite frankly, this punishment could be so much worse. Like, he could be expelled from the league. Like, he could be Pete
Yeah.
Rose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you learn this lesson, Calvin Ridley, and stay in shape, get your mentals ready for 2023. Is really all
And
I
I'm
could
sure
say.
I'm sure he'll be fine. And I'm sure he'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
The backstory is he got basically, he was on his cell phone. He was in Florida. And like I said, doing on his cell phone. There's this company called Genius who's in compliance with the NFL to track these types of things. According to the Bleacher Report story, the only reason that his parlay bets were flagged is because he did it out of state. Basically, he was in Florida doing it,
Yeah.
and I guess he lives in Georgia. And they found that the Genius company found that to be weird, and they asked the NFL to investigate it, and that's how he was caught. I believe it happened. He did it in February. Like, that's when the bet was made, and then they caught it in they did it in November, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then they caught it in February. But he stands to lose $10 million from this suspension
Yeah.
for a $1,500 bet. And I hate to kind of, twist the knife, but it's just like, bruh, this is a dumbass decision, and you got to make, or at bare minimum, let me try to be sensitive, because I understand he having some mental
I
health
don't look
issues.
at it as twisting a knife. I just look at it, and before you make your point, I just look at it as, this is what you risked, this is what you lost for that. So learn your lesson from that moving forward, and you'll make some better
Yeah.
decisions. So go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know how betting on your phone, helps or harms your mental health. I don't know. if he was doing. I don't know where his mental mind state was when he was doing this. I know this was a mistake.
Yeah.
So I'll try to refrain from calling him dumb because I understand and he stated that I'm having mental health things,
Yeah.
and so I'll try to be sensitive to that. You ain't stupid, but you damn sure made a mistake, and the mistake was stupid. So and that's kind of like this little being sensitive thing. We kind of got to deal with this Russell Westbrook situation and this dealing with mental health. He came out, I guess, at a presser last night, basically talking about he don't want his kids coming to the games, and I know him and his wife and Skip Bayless had a little Twitter exchange
Yeah.
over the weekend, basically saying that he don't like being called Westbrook, and
Yeah.
I'd love to know your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Just I want to wrap the Calvin Ridley thing up with just one final thought here. So I play FanDuel on my phone, and I think I brought this up in a podcast years ago. So when it was first trying to get itself up off the ground, right? So it tracks you. It tracks what state you're in when you're setting up lineups and things like that. And I remember one time when I was in New York, I was trying to set a lineup, and it said, "Hey, you can't gamble in the state of New York with FanDuel." So I was never able to set the lineups. I was never able to play at all. But when I'm home here in Maryland or in any other state that allows FanDuel gambling, I was able to do that. So I don't know what the algorithms of how the NFL was able to tie that to Calvin
They
Ridley
track
and
your
what he
phone.
was doing to track it and stuff like
They track
that.
your phone.
They track your phone. Okay, it might
Yeah.
not, but it might be a different type of way they track it versus how certain states track your phone. But
No,
it's
what I'm saying is that their technology is integrated in your iPhones and your Androids, etc. So just like GPS, which is a separate entity, can go into your phone and tell you where your phone is based on your phone.
yeah,
FanDuel, DraftKings, they all do the same thing. That's why they ask you, do you want this app to track you while you're using it, or do
right,
you want it to always track you? All those types of things, because that technology is integrated within your cell phones.
right. So
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 that's how they know it was Calvin Ridley. That's how they
mhm,
know exactly where he was. All those things
I believe
because
that.
it's a fact. I mean, that's not even a theory. That's a fact.
No, I'm
That all
saying I could side with that because I dealt with I dealt with that not same situation, but when FanDuel first started, they were easily able to track what state you're in because you allow the phone and the app to track your location. So I just thought that that was kind of interesting, just kind of drawing a parallel to the Calvin Ridley thing over to what I was trying to do a few years ago. But in the end, he'll be okay. Um,
well, it's the exact same thing.
what's
Yeah,
that?
and he'll be fine. You're
It's
right.
right. Yeah, it's
I was saying it's the exact same thing.
yeah. I've come to that conclusion just as I'm talking about it. But yeah, he'll be fine. Just suit up for 2023. Get your money right. Be smart, and I want to bring something up too before we go into the Russell Westbrook thing. So the Falcons were taking calls on deals to trade Calvin Ridley to other teams, and they said no, we don't want to trade him. We want to hold off because they sensed that this was about to go down, or they
Yeah,
knew exactly what this was about to go down.
because it
My
happened in February.
my response to that is, why are you trying to trade Calvin Ridley? He might be, if not the best player on the offense, one of your best players on offense. I get Kyle Pitts is there and he's going to be a stud, but in terms of the wide receiver room, he's your best wide receiver.
You
That's
saying why would they be trying to trade him?
why would they be trying to trade Calvin Ridley when
He don't want
he's
to be there.
might be their best receiver? Oh, you think he doesn't
He's
want to be
expressed he don't
there?
want to be there.
Oh,
No, he's
he
expressed they don't
said
want to
that.
be there.
He said that. Okay,
He's expressed
okay,
he don't. Yeah,
okay.
he's
I didn't
expressed he
know
don't want
that.
to be there.
I didn't know that.
I
Okay.
think they. Yeah, I think they stopped listening to offers because they knew he'd be in a situation.
Yeah.
His stock would go down. And then
Okay.
they probably had a good idea that they was going to suspend him for the year, so his stock was definitely going to go down.
Right. Right.
So
Okay.
you don't cut that kind of receiver. So
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate you giving me that insight. I didn't know that he asked to one out. I didn't know that.
I don't know if he asked Atlanta. I don't know if he asked the Falcons to trade him.
Uh huh.
I know he's expressed in social media that he doesn't want to be on that team.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook. So I ain't gonna front, bro. Like, like the more I hear these things that involve Skip Bayless, the more I just don't like the guy. Like, I start to liking Skip Bayless a lot less now than I've ever have before. But in terms of having your name give media or fans giving you nicknames because of your poor play, Westbrook is sort of the definition of how he's played with the Lakers this season.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like
And the Wizards for that matter.
I think you should be able to take that and deal with that however you got to deal with that. I understand Westbrook's your last name. Your kids carry your last name with you, and the kids have to deal with this in school because other kids are saying, "Hey, they calling your daddy Westbrook and all this stuff." But you're not the only one going through that. It's mad athletes that go through that stuff. So
And their kids.
and their children. So if I'm Westbrook, man, I just gotta rise through it all, and and find a way to play better. I mean, at the end of the day, this is about Westbrook's play with the Lakers, and the Lakers have had championship aspirations. And I don't know if you caught this, but someone was making fun of him for saying, "Oh, I didn't have a certain mindset when I got to the Lakers." It was one of those comments he made at a presser a few
Mm-hmm.
days ago. And somebody, I think it was Stephen A. Smith, that said, "Hey, what do you mean you didn't have a mindset? You're not playing for the Wizards. You're playing for the purple and gold. Like, the Lakers is that team that every year, no matter who's on that team, superstar or not, there's always championship expectations, especially with LeBron James there." So
Mm-hmm.
he got criticized for that.
He should have been.
He should have, yeah, he should have been 100%. Um, Again, he's got to play better. If this team is gonna get anywhere, and quite frankly, and I'm calling it right now, they're not going to the finals this year. It's just not happening.
Yeah, he's definitely been a little sensitive, but here's the thing, Trey, and I was thinking about it, and it's kind of the reason why kind of said it helped me segue into from Calvin Ridley,
Hmm.
calling him dumb. See, here's the thing. I get that it's a common practice to call people names, even when it's based on your performance. I get it. It's interesting. It draws people to what you're saying. Like Westbrook, that's funny
Hmm.
in a sense. If you're watching TV and you hear somebody calling Westbrook, and he not shooting well
Yeah.
and all those things. But here's the thing, and I don't want this to happen to anybody, but if Westbrook pulled up and you know, hey Skip, don't call me that shit no more. I'ma knock your fucking block off.
Hmm.
If Skip Bayless ain't willing to still go, still stand on his word, then he probably shouldn't call him Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
probably shouldn't call him that.
Yeah.
It's other ways that you can criticize poor performance than calling somebody names. Um, and I know that's like, what do you call it? Being on a high horse or whatever the saying is. But at the end of the day, I'm a man and you a man.
Hmm.
And if I'm saying to you, I don't like that, you should respect it. Like
Yeah.
you had your little moment. All right,
Hmm.
Westbrook, ha ha. You had your little moment. But if for a second I decide that I want to react different because I'm sick of hearing it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't care about my performance, but I'm sick of hearing it.
Right.
Um, you got to answer to that, and if you ain't got an appropriate answer for it, then it's Murray Fistmas in the words of Ish. So you just got you like for me, I think he's Russell Westbrook is being a little bit sensitive about it, especially when the nickname is coming from his actual performance.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, as men, if Slim say, "Hey, I don't like it. I don't like how it's affected my family
Mm-hmm.
and all those types of things," one thing about a man is that I'm gonna protect my family.
Yep.
And if I feel like something as silly as Skip Bayless calling me West Brick is affecting my family, and I decide to pull up so I could solve the problem, you best better be ready for the smoke that come with it. So it's just probably in Skip Bayless's best interest, in my opinion, to just let that go.
And you can't tell a man how to feel, what to feel. You can't
Right.
do any of that. If Westbrook tells you this is how I'm feeling about the situation, this is how I'm feeling about it. Can nobody tell me right or wrong or any other different way about it? As far as Skip Bayless goes, and I kind of said it at the top that the more that I keep hearing this guy's name in the news with different athletes and things like that, the more I'm starting to dislike him more than ever. But I can't front because it's like with him. I don't know if you noticed, but Skip doesn't follow anybody on Twitter or any of his social media. Everybody follows him, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he tweets for reactions. Most of his tweets, some of his tweets make sense. Other tweets, it's just for reaction. It's for clickbait and all that. But the way he plays the game, right, is the athlete gets upset at something he says, and his immediate response most of the time is, "Come on, Undisputed, and talk about it. Come on the platform, and spew your beef or whatever." That's his game. That's been his game. Even going back to First Take, when I remember him and Chris Bosh had a thing going on, and Chris Bosh ends up on First Take. The same thing with Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens had an issue with something that Skip said. He was like, "Hey, come on the show." T.O. comes on the show. It's like the same kind of game
What's
that
your
he's
problem with that,
playing.
though?
I don't have a
What's your
problem
problem
with
with
it.
that?
I don't have a problem with it. I'm just acknowledging that as much as I'm starting to dislike him, I can't front about the hustle in the game that he's playing to get the reaction from fans, to get the reaction from athletes, and it most of the time turns out ending up these guys get on these guys' platforms and they hash it out or they talk about it. I can't hate on that.
What you don't like about him then?
Huh?
What you don't like about him? You said you started not to like him.
I don't like Skip Bayless. I just don't like the back and forth with with the athletes and stuff. Some of the stuff that he says, some of the stuff on Twitter that he says, I think more so, and I'll kind of rephrase it. I think I dislike Undisputed, and it's not because of Shannon Sharp, because I think Shannon Sharp is great to watch. I just think they like most TV shows, they regurgitate the same topics, except I think with Undisputed, he's always talking about the Cowboys. He's always talking about Tom Brady. He's always talking about LeBron James. It's like, God damn, like, can y'all talk about something else other than those three things? And even if you guys go into something different, y'all always find a way to tie it back to one of those three things. I think that's why I kind of dislike Skip Bayless, but it's more so I dislike the platform because it's sort of the same, stuff.
Oh, okay.
I don't get that with a lot of the other shows. Like First Take is not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the other joint on
They don't
Fox
talk
is
about
not
the
like
cow.
that.
They don't find. I disagree with that. They the First Take always finding some reason to talk about the Cowboys.
No, no, no,
Damn
no, no,
near
no,
every
no, no.
episode.
I'm saying Undisputed, it seems like Undisputed's topics mostly revolve around those three subjects, whereas First Take, it's not only those three subjects, but they talk about a lot of stuff. They get into a lot of things other than those three subjects. With Undisputed, every time I turn the channel to that show, it's one of those three subjects.
I
Is
hear
my
you.
point.
I hear you. I don't see it that way, but if I'm being honest with you, I think every sports show everywhere
Mm-hmm.
talks about finds a way to talk about those three or four popular
Only those
topics
three?
every.
Only those
No,
three?
I don't think any show talks about only those three. I mean, to be honest with you,
Undisputed does.
I got,
That's what I'm
I
trying to
hear
get
you,
to.
but I hear I understand what you're saying. I'm saying I disagree with that because I just all the information I got from Calvin really I
Mm-hmm.
got from FS from Undisputed. I didn't get it from First Take. You know what I'm saying?
No, sure.
I
Yeah, like I said, they'll touch on certain things, but I don't think I think First Take expands their topics more than Undisputed expands their topics. And I guess you disagree with that. So I can't
yeah. I about to say
I can't
I
tell
would
you one way or the other. I'm just telling you what I've experienced
sure
watching these two
sure
shows.
Sure. Oh, and let's be clear. I don't watch either of them on network television. I go on YouTube and tell me the shit I care about. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about
Hmm.
this. I don't. That's not my life. I don't be sitting there watching TV all day.
Right.
So
Right.
you know what I'm saying. So I hear you. I would just say that that's not my experience. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. No, I got you. Um,
Yeah.
Shout out to this brother right here, man. Kevin Sanford, who we know as Rough Buff, from the past, is in a Facebook Live chat. Says, "What up, fellas?" He says, "I thought y'all boys broke up like the fat boys over." I think he meant to say the fat girls over the Waffle House. No, he meant fat boys over the Waffle House waitress. And he's talking about when we was in Atlanta some years ago when we was at the Waffle House
Uh,
chilling and stuff. And I guess you didn't.
what up? What up, pimp?
I guess you didn't tip the Waffle House waitress or something like that, if I remember that. But
I don't remember what that was
you
so
was
long ago. I don't
you
remember
were you
that.
out of it. You was out of it.
Yeah, I
So
was twisted. Yeah,
you was out of it.
I
But
fucked your rental car up that weekend,
but
man. I don't remember that.
yeah. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
and
I don't remember
I'm
that.
mad you remember that too.
Nah, well, cause I felt bad about that. Yeah, I felt bad about that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
felt terrible about that.
Yeah. Well, hey man, it's all good, man.
Yeah.
We move on. We move on from that. Going back to the NFL for a second. So two things. Snoop Dogg came out and said that Jay Z was going to end his partnership with the NFL had the NFL not let Dr. Dre, Mary J, and the whole crew that performed at the Super Bowl halftime show do the halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
My response to that is Jay flexing the power, and I'm here for it.
I would imagine that that they didn't think that would be a good halftime show. I mean, of course, the NFL wouldn't think that quote unquote gangster rappers would be on
Yeah.
there and Kendrick Lamar with his woke ass talking about
Yep.
talking about the shit
Yeah.
he talk about, and
Yeah.
of course they wouldn't think that. Of course they would. Of
Yep.
course the fucking white boys club wouldn't want that to be at their party per se.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So again, just another for me. Just another notch on Jay Z's belt for getting stuff done. I can't wait to see what he gonna do next year.
Yeah. Where's the Super Bowl at next year? I don't know where
I
it
don't,
is.
yeah, I don't know, but I remember years prior we used to talk about when it was in Atlanta and how
Mm-hmm.
no Atlanta representation outside of Big Boy was there.
Yeah.
I know we talked about the Miami one and we didn't get much Miami representation. So I kind
Even
of
though
hope
the
that
show in Miami was good, because that was the
was good.
Shakira
Yeah,
and
yeah,
J
no
Lo one,
shade.
right?
Yeah. No shade. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was definitely good.
Yep.
Just we wanted some hip hop representation,
Yep.
and we didn't get it. So I'm interested. I hope that we get more hip hop representation every year. I'm not saying that it got to be flat out hip hop like it was this year,
Sure.
but hip hop is the leading music genre in this world. So we need representation at the Super Bowl. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. And that Atlanta Super Bowl, I think the thing for me was that Outkast was not the headliner in that one. I mean,
Well,
it
and
was
it wasn't
cool it was
Outkast
there.
anyway. It was Big Boy.
Sure, but he wasn't the headliner. And Big
Mm.
Boy headline the Super Bowl. It sounds crazy when you say it that way, so I kind of understand, but still. And I think Jay at that point wasn't partnered up with the NFL yet for that Super
Yeah,
Bowl. So,
maybe.
but he's what? He's 3 for 3 now, right? Or two for
Uh,
three.
I think he had. I thought he had a. About to say, I thought he had a bad one. I don't remember which one it
The
was. And
weekend, which I think
oh
was the
yeah, I didn't care for that
Tampa.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, which I think was the Tampa
yeah,
Super
I didn't
Bowl.
like that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
RG3, the book that he said he was gonna come out with,
Yeah, mm-hmm.
that book is not coming out anymore. I'm
Yeah.
not surprised. Do I think that Mr. Snyder do something for him to not release the book? It's possible. Or anybody else that's related to the Commanders, for that matter. I'm not surprised as well. Your
Yeah, I
thoughts?
think they got enough shit going. I think they got enough shit going on. They wasn't even smart like the Cowboys to pay the people, to pay the people off and just get it out the way.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they was realized like, all right, maybe we could probably get RG3 out the way for a wet dub and
Yeah,
get some more drama off our back.
yeah. And I think he's trying to justify, um, not doing the book anymore. But the
Cool.
reality is that if you're not gonna speak up, then it was all about the money all along. I'm just gonna call it how I see it.
Oh, I never thought it was about the women to begin with. So it's interesting that you it's interesting that you
Well,
say that.
the hope was that the book gets released and some more stuff comes out. That was the hope, but then I also
Right,
knew
but
on the backside that this was a possibility.
yeah, see, but here's the thing. He was never writing the book. I get that the press release said, "Oh, I need to expose them," and they was doing all these wrong things. But it was never about him actually trying to expose people. It's about money. It was always about
Sure,
money. That's what you call a
sure,
marketing tactic.
sure. But I think,
And I don't think he cared that much about the shameful dealings of an NFL team. I think he knew that it would bring him a paycheck.
yeah, no, I'm with you there. Um, I lost my train of thought. You mentioned the Cowboys when you were talking about when we were just talking about this. So you're referencing the situation with the daughter of
They
Jerry
paid
Jones,
some. I don't know who was involved. I know they paid some cheerleaders 2.4 million to
cheerleaders.
be
That's it.
quiet.
That's it. That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people, some cheerleaders, some people affiliated with cheerleaders. I know that it could have got nasty, and Jerry Jones was like, "Yeah, go ahead, let's go ahead and nip that in the bud,"
Man,
like a good racist owner should.
filthy animals, man.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, what was he going to do? Sit there and let it come all out, and so he could be in the same boat with Dan Snyder?
No, I wasn't expecting nothing less. I'm
Yeah,
just calling them
yeah.
filthy animals.
Truth be told, it's funny because the constant conversation at work is how broke Dan Snyder is, and it's like, yeah, because why wouldn't you just pay these people off?
Hmm.
And I'm not, and please don't take this as me, being okay with the behavior, because I'm not okay with the behavior. I'm saying that why add all this drama to yourself if you're an owner, if you're anybody that's doing wrong, and you want to keep doing wrong, why wouldn't you just and you got the means to get them out your way? Why wouldn't you just pay them and get them out your way?
And Dan Snyder's not broke. The dude just bought some kind of mansion
No, I mean
in
he's rich people broke.
Virginia.
No, I mean he's rich people broke. I don't mean he's
Oh,
broke because he don't got no money. I
okay.
mean he's rich people broke. I
Oh,
don't mean like he broke like me. The fuck?
oh. Nah, I was more so bringing up the point that the dude just bought some kind of 40 something million-dollar house up in Virginia someplace.
Of
You
course he
know,
did. He paid himself.
you know, that's yeah. I guess that's
Of
what a
course he did.
good
He paid himself.
that's what a good white racist
Yeah.
owner would do, huh? That's what they would
I
do,
wouldn't even
right?
say racist white owned. I would say anybody whose business was bringing in that kind of cash flow. Why wouldn't they pay themselves?
Not saying they shouldn't, but hey, that's what they are, bro. I know you don't care about this. Porzingis dropped 25 in his debut with the
you was
Wizards.
you so right.
It's all right,
You
right?
so right. I don't care about it.
Yeah.
You so and I said you're so right. I don't care about it. And shout out to him. Look, man, the Wizards are trash, bro. You want me to? Are you excited about Julius Randle dropping 46 the other day?
No, because they're not going to the playoffs. They're not going to the
Right, what
playoffs.
you want me to say? So why would you see? You know what? You a funny nigga, man. Why would you? Why do you? Why would you bring? It's his debut because it's his debut. I got you because it's his debut, right?
Yeah, I just said it's his debut.
I
It's his
I got
debut.
you. All right.
That's all I said, bro.
Well, my apologies, bro. Well, my apologies, then, brother.
It's a debut because I know when the trade happened, you was like, nah.
It wasn't so much that I was like, nah, because look, man, they brought in Hurl, they brought in all these people, and they got rid of
and they
them.
got rid of him. Dinwiddie included, right?
Yeah, they got everybody that they outside of Kuzma that they brought in is basically gone. I mean, I like that they brought Ish Smith back because I always liked Ish Smith, but I mean, what do you want me to say? You can't build a team around Ish Smith.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want me to say?
Can you build a team around Kuzma?
No.
Okay, I was just
It was interesting because they had a whole, but I liked the team at the beginning of the year because they had a whole bunch of just guys that scrap. They going
and you
on
had some
scrap.
guys coming off an injury from last
Yeah,
year.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying. So I had 6 seed hopes, man. I did. I had 6 seed hopes, man, and just like that.
basketball is dead on
Nobody's
this podcast.
about to say nobody. Where's Unseld? What you want me to say about the dude? I mean, I get it's his first year, but I mean
Oh,
his rotations ain't great.
I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing to say about Wes Unseld. I honestly
Yeah.
don't even know. Like, I haven't heard anybody really question or criticize his coaching up to this point, except what you just said right there.
Yeah, yeah. His, and again, don't paint me to be the Wizard aficionado, but there has been a lot of conversation about lineups and how who he's choosing to put on the floor at one time.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing though. The Eastern Conference playoffs, this coming playoffs is gonna be fire. Too bad my team ain't gonna be in it to really experience it.
Yep.
But it's gonna be legit, bro. Just a few other notes, man. Jokic dropped the 45-point triple double the other night. Middleton dropped 44 in a comeback. He took over the fourth quarter. And Tatum dropped 54 against the Nets. And some pretty great performances over the weekend. I watched some basketball this weekend. In case you haven't figured that out. But I do got a question since I just brought the Nets up, and I guess Simmons is supposed to debut at some point after they play Philly, I think on Thursday, and a lot of people are giving him smoke for not starting against the Sixers. What's your thoughts?
What's so surpri- what's so I don't understand what's so surprising about that.
About what?
I mean, about him not playing against the Sixers.
I'm not
Look,
surprised. I'm
yeah,
not
the
surprised, but
constant
at some
conversation.
point, if they
You're
face
gonna
him
have
in
to
the
see him.
playoffs, he gonna have to see him.
Sure, and that'll be way more time passed than whenever they
A lot of
play.
time has
Was it like
passed
Thursday or
already.
some shit?
A lot of time has passed already.
Since he left the Sixers.
No, since he's not played in Philadelphia, dating back to the playoff series against the Hawks
Well, but I'm
last season.
yeah, but I'm talking I'm not talking. I'm talking about him actually playing against his team with all these. I ain't gonna. I almost quoted that, and that would be inappropriate. With all these mental health issues and all these things that he got going on
Hmm.
with him, it would be. I could see him saying, you know what, it's a lot of stakes. It's going to be a lot of pressure. I'm going to get a lot of tweets. These are things that players have to worry about now. About and God forbid,
Hmm.
he went in there and had a bad game,
Yeah.
or Philly blew Brooklyn out, or you know what I'm saying. And,
Yeah.
for whatever reason,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. He been getting a lot of unnecessary smoke on his first game back.
Hmm.
I could totally see why he would not play. Like it'd be all right. You'll see him when it's time to see him. Give him some
I
time to
was gonna
get
say,
acclimated, get his mind
cause
right.
yeah,
You gonna run
cause
into him.
the same. I was gonna say that the same players are gonna be there. The same fans are gonna be in that building. That
Yeah.
same organization is gonna be there. So, um,
But but now he got a little more time to get ready. Maybe he shoots a jumper. Maybe he goes 3 for 4
maybe,
from three.
hey, hey, Maestro, hey, maybe he pops a game winner against them in the playoffs in their
Yeah.
building.
All while locking down James Harden because we know that's who he should be guarding.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
That's one
you
thing you
know,
could. That's one thing I can't say about Ben Simmons is that he shies away from defending the best. I've never seen him shy away from defending the best
yeah.
player on the other team. That's the one thing
And
I
shout
can't
out to
say about him.
Embiid who scored 40 and 10 last night too.
I guess that was against the Bulls, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's his tenth. That's his tenth 40 and 10 this year. So
yeah, yeah. The Bulls are sliding, man. Which
I noticed that.
I, I didn't realize this. Someone put the stat out there that they're like they're like 1-12 or they're 1-13 against teams like with winning records. Like
Hmm.
they're not that good against those teams, but against everybody else that's like sub 500, they dominate, they beat. I didn't realize that. I just all I've noticed about the Bulls this year was DeMar DeRozan playing like he a crazy man, out for revenge, playing at an MVP level, and Lonzo Ball and Caruso and those guys and Levine, those guys were balling for like the first part of the year. That's all I knew about them until they got a couple of injuries, and then now they're kind of sliding down the
They're like at six. They're
standings.
like six somewhere
I
right
think
now.
they're still four. They're still four, but they're trending. They're trending down because Boston is kind of trending up, and the
Hmm.
Celtics have been on a tear too in the last 10 games. They've been on a tear too. I think right now, legitimately, there's about 5 teams that could win the Eastern Conference right now.
Are you saying that based on record or based on what you're seeing on the court?
I'm basing that on what I see on the court. I think there's
Okay.
about 5 teams in the East that can win the Eastern Conference, and
Is it
that
1 through 5?
no, no,
I'm about to say because Brooklyn is 9.
it's Miami, it's Milwaukee, it's Philly, it's Boston. Hate to say, and it's the
Hmm.
Nets. If the Nets can get these guys acclimated and get them
Oh,
going.
don't
If
worry. I don't think that's going to. How many more games there? It's 72 games this year, right?
I don't know how many total it is, but I know what's left is about 17, 18 games left in the season.
Oh yeah, they'll. I see it. I think they'll be 6 seed by the end of the year. Boston. I mean Brooklyn.
Okay, so you think the Cavs take a dip also. I could kind of see that. They just lost Jared Allen to a thumb. I don't know how long that's going to be. And the Bulls, we just talked about the Bulls. I could kind of see them taking a bit of a dive also. So you think it's so your six is Brooklyn, Boston, Philly, Miami, Milwaukee, and I guess it's kind of a pick 'em at this point for
Yeah,
whoever the
yeah.
six team is.
I mean, you got to. I mean, look, nobody's been paying attention to Toronto because they were bad in the beginning, but they're in it.
They're there.
You know,
They're there,
yeah, they're right there.
and I think the thing that you can say about them, and I'm not trying to paint this picture that they have a chance in the East. I don't think they have a chance in the East at all. But some of those players on that team is still from that title team,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the coach is still there from that title team.
yep,
So
yep.
you can never underestimate that. So
Mm-hmm.
so we'll see what happens. It's gonna be interesting because you still got to play in. The Hawks are kind of, I don't know what to think about Atlanta right now.
I don't think nothing.
You think they wanted? You think like they're in the play in and they just get kicked out the play in?
Yeah, I mean, are they in the play? And I thought they were 11.
They're in, they're in there.
Okay, so they're 10.
Cause I think they're 10. Cause the Wizards is 11.
Okay,
The Knicks are
right.
12.
Okay, okay. So, um, and they're playing, so they would. I mean, I hate that if the playoffs started today thing, but they would see like the Hornets.
They would see, yeah, something like that. Like they would have to see the
Um,
Hornets.
I guess I'd give them a shot if it's a play-in thing. Yeah, and it's a play-in thing, so I guess I would give them a shot. I guess
Cause,
so.
cause who's 7 through 10 right now? So it's Charlotte, it's
Let
the
me let me
Nets,
just let me just. Anybody
and
say? Let me
it's
just
the
see who it
Hawks.
is.
Yeah, I think
In the 7 through 10, it is
yeah, Charlotte's in there.
Toronto, Charlotte, Brooklyn, and Atlanta.
Okay, so Toronto would play Charlotte, and then Brooklyn would play the Hawks.
Yeah.
That's how that. See, remember
Okay.
that's how that works. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking 7 against 10, 8 against 9.
so the
Okay.
7 against
Yeah.
the 8. So I would I would probably
Yeah.
pick Toronto to beat Charlotte. They would get the 7, and then Charlotte would have to play the loser of no. They would have to play the winner
And play the winner
of
of
9 to 10. And
right. And so yeah, Atlanta. Atlanta be out of it in short.
yeah, because I think at that point the Nets would beat them. I think the Nets would beat them in one
And
game.
and the Nets at 8 against Miami. That would be a great first series.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely,
That
absolutely.
that that'd be one of the situations where the play-in kind of got us a good 1 through 8.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and really,
That'd be a good
when you
series.
look at the East, also Boston's at 5. I think Chicago's still at 4.
Hmm
That's going to be a good series.
That's
I
gonna be a
think
good series.
if they can get
Yeah,
Caruso and Alonzo Ball back, like that's a great series right there too.
I'm even okay with Philly and Toronto.
Yeah, I like that
I'm
too.
okay with it.
Yeah,
I mean that's a good game for James Harden because I think there's nobody on Toronto that'll take over a game like an Embiid or James Harden. So James Harden kind of needs
yep,
that playoff boost. Maybe get him
yeah,
an easy team.
yep.
Get him an easy team
I got you. Yep. And then who would be the other matchup? I guess it'd be Milwaukee and Cleveland, right?
in
And
Cleveland. Yeah, and
and I
that would be the
yeah, I think they get them up out of there quick.
yeah.
But one thing I did notice about Cleveland the other night, and this was my first time watching them like in full. They got some like guys that's like 6'9". Like I didn't realize how many guys they got out there on a court that's like tall. Like you got Garland and everybody else is like 6'9", 6'10", and everything. And I'm like, man, no wonder they're good defensively. I mean, aside from
Hmm
them actually playing physical defense, but these guys is tall.
Yeah,
But against Milwaukee, I could see them
yeah,
getting up out of there in 4. They just
yeah,
don't got the experience.
yeah.
And you facing the champs. So
You're facing the champs.
yeah. So you really there's really no shot there. Um, what you think about out west? What you seeing so far?
Out west, again, let me pull up the Western Conference real quick. But um,
Cause
I
it's
mean, one thing I did notice One thing I did notice, I didn't realize Phoenix had gap. Phoenix was, I guess they had been number one for a little while, but I didn't realize they was going like they was going. Um,
You're talking about that lead over the second seed, right? Over Golden State,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I didn't realize they was going like that. Memphis is actually number two, but yeah, I didn't realize it was.
Oh, right,
I
because
didn't
the
realize it was
Warriors
like that
lost last night. That's right. Yeah,
last night, right? Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So look, man. Okay, so we dealing with the play in. You said seven, eight, eight, nine.
Yep.
I'm gonna take the
Lakers,
Clippers
Clippers
over
in there.
minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Be honest with you, man. I mean, I'm gonna give it to the Lakers to beat the Pelicans just because of it's too many old folks,
Is that the 9 to 10?
experienced folks. That's a 9 and 10. Yeah,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
give me the Clippers over Minnesota. And then I mean, I know you said you ain't had the Lakers getting out the play in, but if they got to play Minnesota, I'm not because Minnesota's a bad team. I seen a little bit of Minnesota. They're
I was
not
gonna say I don't think Minnesota's bad, bruh.
yeah, they're not a bad team at all.
Yeah, I
I
don't
seen a
think
little
they
bit of
lose
them.
to the Clippers. To be honest with you, if Kawhi and
Interesting.
PG don't come, if Kawhi and PG don't come back,
Is
and
there
it's
some reason why Kawhi and PG wouldn't be back?
nobody knows when Kawhi's coming back, and I know there's some kind of timeline with Paul George. I just don't know when that is. But let's
I mean,
say
but you think? I mean, okay, okay. Do you think that they won't show up if it's the playoffs on the line?
without those two guys,
No, 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 no. Do you think that PG and Kawhi would not show up? Like they're going to end up in the play-in.
I think
So now the play-ins for
PG.
the
I
playoffs.
think PG shows up. I don't know about Kawhi. I'm gonna just be honest
Okay.
with you. I don't know because he doesn't talk
Okay.
and nobody can get a word out of his group. But if PG comes back, I'll give them a big chance against Minnesota. But if they don't have any of those two guys, I don't
Okay, I'm
think they
with you
beat
there.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I agree with that 100%. So, okay, so but if we got to pick them right
Yep.
now,
But
I'm going to assume I'm picking with the assumption that Kawhi and PG would be there for a play-in.
okay,
I'm they play for a play-in. They
Clippers
beat
beat
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah, get that
Yes,
100%. So Minnesota plays
the
the winner
Lakers.
of the Lakers, and I think the Lakers, as old as they
Yeah,
are,
I think they beat
I think they get
Minnesota.
them. I
I
think they
think
get them.
LeBron takes. Yeah,
I think they get
I
them.
think
Yeah,
LeBron ain't having that. I
yeah.
think LeBron ain't having that.
I think they get them. So that means it's basically a rematch of the first round. It's Suns and Lakers,
And
right?
they're getting them out of them five.
They getting the Suns getting
That
the Lakers up out of there in five, right?
out of in five.
Yep.
Facts.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Facts.
I'm with you there.
But as far as the matchups, I mean, the matchups don't look as enticing as the Eastern Conference matchups.
Utah and Dallas are in like a matchup, right? Like a 4 or 5 right there.
Yeah.
I, that I mean,
It's a
I
good matchup.
yeah,
The Eastern Conference looks more exciting.
yeah, I agree with. That I agree with because you got a couple teams in the West that you just feel like there's no chance.
Utah doesn't excite me. I'm like they're a good team. I'm not saying they're not a good team. They don't excite me. Um, the Lakers don't excite me, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
it's LeBron, and that's where it stops.
Yep.
Obviously Memphis excites me, but
Yep.
they would be against
The Clippers,
they would
right?
be against the Clippers. I think Memphis gets the Clippers out. Well, nah, I got
Not so
yeah, Kawhi
fast.
and Paul George. Yeah,
Not
Kawhi and
so
Paul George.
fast.
If I'm doing it under that assumption,
That's a 7 game
um,
series. That's a seven
yeah,
game series, and
and
really it's a
and I
pick 'em. For me, it would be a pick 'em at this point.
if you got Kawhi, if you got Kawhi in the game seven and Paul George in the game seven, I'm taking the Clippers.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's the
Respect the
logical
job.
thing to do. That's the logical thing to do. But that boy Ja is no joke.
Yeah, but now with respect to Ja Morant, because like I said last week, he my favorite player right now. But you telling me that Kawhi gonna strap up? Cause we seen what
Oh, I
let
know.
me say I hope they wouldn't put PG on Ja, cause we seen what Luca did to PG. So
Hmm.
I would hope that they would just go ahead and say, you know what,
Yeah.
we're gonna leave defensive prowess to Kawhi and let
Yeah.
PG
They
do some
can't.
scoring.
They
But
can't lay an egg like they did against Denver a couple of years ago in the bubble. They can't do
yeah,
that. I don't forget
yeah. So
that.
well, I look. It's very clear that Luca owns PG, so that's what that is. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't even try. I wouldn't even trifle with John Moran. If I'm the Clippers, I'm putting Kawhi on him and saying whatever points you can get us on offense, cool.
Hmm.
But shut Ja down.
Yeah. The Nuggets would. So the Nuggets would
Golden
play
State.
Golden State. Right. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's. When's Jamal Murray coming back? We talk about Kawhi. When's Jamal
I
Murray
don't.
coming back?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, don't ask me a thing
Like.
about Denver because I haven't paid them no attention.
Like.
But let's be clear, them boys is back.
No. I. Yeah. They back.
The boys is
And
back.
when Draymond get back, because right now they on a slide right now, but Draymond get back in there, that whole thing gonna be
Yeah,
flowing once again.
yeah. They getting Denver about it. I ain't saying it's gonna be a sweep, but
I was gonna say I don't think it's gonna be a sweep. I think they get him up out of there in
yeah,
six,
yeah,
just based on the team's play and what I've seen. I think they get him up out of there in six.
yeah. But the boys is definitely back. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
that is what that is.
It's for me anything other than a Phoenix Golden State conference finals in the West. Um, I just don't see it. It's for me.
Hmm.
It's Suns and Warriors. And
Yeah,
if
I agree.
somebody else got something to say about it, then that's all good too. But right
Well,
now,
that's
it's
what I
those two
want to
teams.
see.
What
That's
Suns
what
and
I want to
Warriors?
see. Yeah, in the conference finals. Yeah.
Hmm. East Finals. You got a
Um.
matchup you want to see?
Um. I'm sorry. I don't know why I looked at Twitter while we was doing this podcast, but now I get source. Yes, I'm about to. I
Bring some
mean, it's
news.
rumors,
You
but
bringing some news? Okay.
it's just rumors. It's
Okay.
just rumors.
Okay.
But Steelers are deep into trade talks with
Wait.
Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
And a deal could be reached by the end of the day. So we'll see
Mm,
what happens.
okay. That don't sound like a reliable Twitter handle that you just read from.
Well, I just closed it.
It don't say. It
But
sound
why do you
like.
say so? Why
Well,
you feel it?
the way you started off with it's just rumors and
Well, but I prefaced early in the episode.
mhm.
All this shit is rumors. Like it's hard for me to take anything serious right now.
Sure, but then when you read the tweet and it says a deal to get done by the end of the day, then it's like, okay, is this moving away from a rumor? We're close, like we're in between. Like what's good,
I don't know, but
you know?
we'll see.
Well, yeah.
But
They got to do something, right? They got to do something, right?
Eastern Conference. I would love to see. Uh, I would love to see the Bucks and the Nets again.
Yeah, you was just in my head, man. Like I'm just sitting here thinking like I want to see the rematch of the second round from last year
Yeah,
with those two teams.
yeah. But I wouldn't mind the Sixers and the Nets either.
Yeah, yeah, because because we want to see Kevin
With all
Durant,
the,
right? We want to see Kevin Durant in
we want to
that
see Kevin
spot, right?
Durant.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I just hope they could get it together though.
And, and for all intents and purposes, Embiid is the MVP this year.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
I hit the Rose and I hit a job, but most consistently this year, it's been Embiid.
Hmm. Yep, and people been talking about Jokic also, but I don't think he's gonna win it.
But
I don't think he should be in
it's
consideration. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't think he's top three in MVP
right,
right now.
right.
So yeah, I would love to see the Nets in that situation. I just think with the season they're having, they're standing right now, and I know they're only 17 games left, and they still got some time to maybe, make up some ground. But I just don't, right now, I don't see them going to the finals. Can I see them getting to the East Finals? Yes. But I don't see them getting to the finals this year.
Okay.
Next year is really when they're going to be heavy, heavy favorites in the East.
Why next year as opposed to this year?
Because hopefully this ban that's keeping
Mandate.
Kyrie from
Okay.
not playing in Brooklyn gets lifted. So you're going to get Kyrie every day, and Ben Simmons is going to be acclimated into the team, into the offense. So that's why I say more so next year than this year. I just think there's just too many teams that's at that top part of the, conference, with Boston.
But who do you really believe, though? But who do you really believe?
You got the defending champs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't sleep on them. The Heat was just in the finals in the bubble a couple of years ago, and they got Kyle Lowry, and Oladipo just came back the other night, so they got firepower, coming in already. So it's those two teams.
Okay.
I believe in Jason Tatum as much as I don't like the Celtics, but I believe that Jason Tatum can
the finals.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. Jason Tatum is a dog, bruh.
No doubt about him being a dog. I'm talking about playing against the East, though. You see Boston beating the Bucks?
Right now, no. But if things broke their way, you never know. But
I mean, obviously, if things. I'm just talking about as constructed right now.
Yeah.
What teams have legit, not like
sure.
But
also, what if they didn't have to face the Bucks? What if somebody got the Bucks out of there before Boston was able to see whoever that was too? That's why I don't count Boston out.
No, okay. Well, I count Boston out because I don't think they're better than the Bucks or the Heat.
Okay. Philly.
It's three teams.
Philly. We got to take them seriously. I know you don't like.
I don't have to. I don't have nothing against Philly.
No, I know. I'm saying I know you don't like.
I don't believe James Harden in the playoffs.
What am I trying to say?
I don't believe James Harden in the playoffs.
Well, that too, but Embiid has also shown some, some moments where he's not, where he might not be that dude. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but on an MVP run right now, so maybe he turns the corner this year. Maybe somebody on that MVP run. I don't believe that whole team. I don't believe the whole
And Doc is the coach. So I think that's important.
Doc is the coach, so that's important to notice. But now you're talking about, and forgive me if it sounds rude, two people that flop in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Doc Rivers and James Harden.
Right. And that's why I'm saying I understand why you're a little bullish on Philly, but if he's the MVP, if he's the leading, candidate for MVP and Embiid, then maybe he turns that around. Who else we missing? I don't think Chicago's got a chance. As great as DeRozan's playing, I don't think they got a chance.
I mean, for me, bro, I don't really feel the need to go through the whole 10 teams. For me in the East, that got a legit shot in the finals is the Nets, it's the Heat, it's the Bucks.
Okay, all right. I think those were the three
legit
teams
shots at going to the finals.
Yeah, I think those were the three teams we expected, to be 1, 2, and 3. When it's all said and done in a regular season. Obviously, there's, Philly's right there. Boston. I'm gonna include Boston in that 3. I think there's 4.
Okay.
I think there's 4.
Okay.
And then we'll see what happens there. Shout out to everybody. You got nothing else, man? I'm gonna close this thing.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, but shout out to everybody in Facebook Live. Shout out to all the listeners. Make sure y'all continue to follow us on Facebook, on the Facebook page. Click the like button. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you can follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. And if you got any questions or comments about the show, you can email us at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. So that's it. Signing off, Trey Frazier, Maestro Styles. We see y'all next week. Peace.
Love.
Recording stopped.